Hey guys, Jimmy from Carlist, and you'll never guess where I am. So I heard Proton has a new sedan out there. Something that's a bit of a hot topic right now, but I'm here to get to the bottom of another sedan. Something of the pinnacle of what a true buatan Malaysia sedan can be. Something that Proton has a lot of experience doing since the first Saga from 1985. It's the Persona. Some say it's very, very good. Some say it's even world class. I want to find out. Next time. It's no secret that this Persona is a pretty common sight on Malaysian roads. It has been updated over the years, and I'm a little surprised at how sophisticated it can look, even now in 2024. You can still definitely tell it's a sedan sibling to the Iris, but it looks so much more grown up that you don't make the connection right away. Some highlights include LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and dual-tone 16-inch alloy wheels. So I got a history with the Persona, okay? My first car ever was a Proton Saga, loved it. And then I was handed down a Proton Persona, also loved it. When I did wash it, it looked pretty good. It was really fun to drive, and also it was practical. It could fit all my stuff when I wanted to move house. So it did everything. It was my do-everything car. I want to know, is this, because of the new Persona, does it do everything as well and better? We've come a long way. This cabin feels, decently plush. My old Persona needed a bit of work to look classy, but this new Persona, it's got some style points beyond what I was expecting. And it's got a pretty good feature set too. First of all, it's got keyless entry and push start. You got an analog down in front of me, but it has a TFT multi-info display, and the biggest deal is this large 8-inch infotainment display. The panel itself is very bright and responsive, and the OS running it, it's quite smooth and intuitive, very good. And even if I don't want to connect my phone, it can do music streaming and online navigation all by itself. And even if I don't want to use my hands, it can do voice commands. Hi Proton, open the window.
Good afternoon. All right, open.
Very cool. It's got 6 USB ports, 3 up front for the dashboard over here, 2 for the rear passengers, and even 1 concealed up here. So you buy a dash cam, you just plug it in, easy. And also it's got a rear view camera mounted on the boot, which opens up to reveal 510 liters of cargo space. That's more than a Honda Civic. Like I said, this has to be a do-everything car. And here we are in the back seats to show you guys my favorite feature of this Persona's interior, which is the saddle brown leatherette seats. They look great and go a long way in kind of elevating the Persona to make it feel more expensive. So the Persona has always given customers a lot of car for their money, right? But now it finds itself in a market where the B segment sedan is really expensive. The average price these days for the Japanese versions, those are pushing 90,000 ringgit, 80,000 ringgit, a little bit over 100,000 ringgit these days. And if you look at it from that perspective, this Persona, this premium variant, is about half the price of those Japanese rivals. That's crazy. But behind the wheel right now, I can't really get a sense that I'm actually missing out on too much. The Persona is almost as quiet, in normal driving situations. At high speeds, it can get a little noisy here and there. And at city speeds, you could almost call it just as refined. And given how much fun the Iris is to throw around some corners, the Persona is the same way. It has that sense of chuckability that I really like in a small car, compact car like this. And then you have the 1.6 liter engine, 1.6 liter naturally aspirated. It's not going to be a power king. In fact, you can trace the roots, the lineage of this engine back to that original 1.6 liter that was in my Persona. And that, character-wise, was a sort of, it had its own personality, that car, that engine. And you can tell that this engine also has a certain personality. It does the job, in terms of power and torque for this format of car, for this size, it's got more than enough. And then you pair that with the CVT, it does a decent job of having to keep up with that engine, which loves to rev, and kind of like just push you along. If I want to be in a more spirited driving mood, it'll just kick me down into the right virtual ratio, whatever it is, make the engine rev harder where it should be. And it does the job. Would I prefer a normal slush box? Yeah, maybe I would. But honestly, I can't really complain too much about how well this CVT works with this engine in normal driving. mean, so far the Persona is impressive, more impressive than as a package than my Persona was when I was driving it back in the day. This car has given me more than I expect, you know, comfort, practicality, tech, even in terms of the drive for the price. But I don't remember liking it as much. It's the same car, you can tell that, but it's also clearly much better. They've ironed out those little niggles, little problem areas over the years. You can tell now it's a more polished product. It has evolved. I can't explain that evolution to you really accurately, but I think I know who can. Hey, actually, I recognize that guy. That guy is Mr. Desmond, so he should know a lot more about the Persona than I do. Let me just get him. Mr. Desmond, right? Yeah, awesome. I'm Jim from Carlist. I want to ask you a few questions in the car, if that's okay?
Okay.
Okay, come on, this is inside. Can you just give me a bit of backstory about what you do in Proton?
So basically, I'm the vehicle program executive.
Right.
So I manage the sort of like a vehicle line director for models. So
Right.
I'm in charge of Persona, Iris, and Saga. So in terms of what I do is basically from cradle to grave, managing the life cycle of these vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, from
Okay.
design to production to sales and new development and so on.
Well, I don't have that much time because I'm actually just going to return this car. So just a couple of questions for you, because I know that, again, this is not the car that I first drove in 2017. It's a more polished product, you know? What were your areas of focus?
I think the car, from what we hear from the customers and so on, majorly number one is on the noise. So if you look at the Persona, two major potential of where the noise would come in from. Number one is from the engine side,
Yeah.
and number two is probably on the wind noise.
Yeah.
One example is to align the RPM with the vehicle speed to eliminate the roaring noise from the engine.
Right.
So I think that's number one that we need to take care of.
Yep.
Secondly, also there are a lot of areas of dampening of the structure.
Right.
So we dampen the structure. We also have a dynamic damper fitted onto the car. Next one is of course insulation of the car. So basically we have actually increased the thickness of all the insulations, especially in the firewall. So in terms of wind noise and so on, so we try to improve the process of, for example, the door fitment to make sure that the door sits in the right position. So basically, in terms of manufacturing, build quality was our main focus.
Right. All these little improvements over the years, right? Yeah. Ongoing all the time. What's the biggest improvements that you feel were like the biggest wins for the Persona over the years? You know, like for me, it's touchscreen. It is actually the seats, the color itself. To me, it makes a big difference in elevating the cabin feel. You have more sound insulation. You get high quality Goodyear tires. I remember my Persona came with like Silverstones. This one has, you know, really good quality Goodyears. Yeah, what do you think?
So basically, we're going for best in class, you know, for superb stability, handling, performance, as well as the HMI, the human machine interface. So that's why you have the head unit plus the aircon controllers, and also that all, you know, we're focusing more on the convenience for the customers.
Yeah. So with this generation Persona, lots has changed, but where is Proton at in terms of where this has progressed?
Persona remains an important model for Proton. So every month, Persona is roughly about 2,000 units per month sales, where it's also, for many consecutive months, it's been number one in the segment. So I think what we did over the years was we tried to improve. I mentioned earlier about NVH. Other than that, also we try to improve the human-machine interface, that the car will be more interactive with the driver, give more option to the customer in terms of probably in future the infotainment system.
So, a bit of backstory. I had my first car ever was a Proton Saga, love that. And then I had a Proton Persona, the old Gen 1, right? Love that as well. This one pula, if I had this kind of car, in lieu of my car, I would kind of think twice about upgrading, because I think this is a really perfect starter executive car. I wouldn't really upgrade until maybe I really had to. Anyway, thanks for your time.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you have it. This Persona is definitely a much more rounded package compared to the version I was driving way back when, and compared to when a generation first made its debut in 2017. Is it the best Persona it can be? Well, no car is perfect, but for the price, it is a great little package with agile handling, a reinforced steel construction that both improves stability and led it to a 5-star ASEAN ANCAP rating. And this is bolstered by its underlying set of safety features such as standard stability control, traction control, hill hold assist, isofix mounting points, a seatbelt reminder system, and of course, anti-lock brakes. It's also got the latest tech and connectivity features. It's all you need and a bit extra for a great starter sedan. And the good news is that there's apparently more to look forward to. I'd say it retains that do-everything practicality, and at this price, again, leads the charge as a value-packed B-segment sedan option. But what do you guys think?